Action!
He believes that cinema is a culture that needs to be nurtured. Build it with passion and purpose, and the audience will come. Joining us today in studio is Philip Karanja. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Philip Karanja. Phil.
Love it. Straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
Love it, love it.
So, question.
Yeah.
Do you think we have an industry?
I wouldn't call it an industry at the moment. We are progressing as we should, as it should. I know we like to compare ourselves a lot with South Africa, Nigeria, Bollywood, not Hollywood. But the truth is, I have been granted conversations with producers from Nigeria, from South Africa, from Hollywood. And what I've realized is it's just a natural progression. So where we are at as Kenya is where Nigeria was 10, 15 years ago. It's where South Africa was maybe 20, 30 years ago. It's where Hollywood was maybe 50 years ago. So there's nothing we're doing wrong. We're on the right path.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that what inspired you to set up PhilTV and Philit Productions?
I mean, I have always been in love with cinema,
Yeah.
right from when I was a kid. Like, I was one of those kids, nilikuwa naenda zile movie places za 5 bob.
Watoto kaeni chini.
Yes. So I started from Watoto Kaeni Chini, and that blew my mind away. And then kulikuwa zile movie dens where you pay 5 shillings.
Yeah.
My goal in life every week was to save up 20 shillings so that on Sunday, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., I am watching movies.
Za DJ Afro ama?
Hazikuwa za DJ Afro. Hazikuwa za DJ Afro, hiyo time akuwa ameingia kwa mix. And so for me, I always knew I'd do something with film. So even when I got into film school, I knew the end game for me was to open my own production company. And in film school, we met with Abel Mutua, like-minded guys, and we were like, you know what, this is our goal. So we got into Tahidi High as actors, progressed to directing and him writing a show called Real Households of Kawangware, and then opened our own production company. And here we are. So around 2018, we were doing a lot of shows for Mnet at that point. And, you know, we sat down and we're like, this business model where we only have one client. You know, your client akishikwa na homa,
Finished.
we are done.
All of us.
So, you know, we started around that time, we started asking ourselves, okay, so, you know, how will we survive? There was an incident where we applied for a documentary job, and it had a lot of pre-qualification process, a very long one. And at the tail end, we won the process, but the NGO belonged to a country that belongs to the G8. So they can't work with a company that does not have female directors.
Yo.
We were disqualified because our company did not have female directors. So at that point, we were like, okay, so the way the world is moving right now, as men, it might be tricky to get some jobs. And then we can't rely on one client. So we were like, what is our product? We make productions, we make beautiful shows. How can we sell it directly to Kenyans? And that's where the dream of PhilitTV was born. This is 2018, so DVDs were still a thing. And the cost of burning and shipping DVDs was still a bit high. So we'd have to sell the movies at like 500 shillings for it to make sense. So we were like, you know what, let's try and build a platform. Yeah.
So hence, PhilTV was born.
PhilTV was born. We met up with a gentleman called Kanyi. He owns a company called Azahab Technologies, purely out of coincidence. He was looking to work with us as influencers, and then we got to know what he does, and we told him, we have this dream, we have this idea. He told us, hold that thought. I think 1 week later, he came with a prototype, and we're like, what are we waiting for? Let's shoot the film. This is 2018. 2019, we've decided we need to sell our films directly to Kenyans. I was on a journey of learning how to run a business, how to be a CEO. I figured that with a product, anytime before you sell a product, you first have to build a community, and then from the community, get the product and sell to them. So we started toying with the idea of doing a TV show that we can put up on YouTube so that we can build our community, and then we can sell now our products to the community. In the process of producing that TV show, which was Undercover, where Abel and Chugush were the main characters, COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so to go home, we can't do anything. And that's where Abel started telling his stories on YouTube. And soon enough, we had this community. Yeah, so the minute we had the community and we had the tech guy building the site, we were like, sasa tunangoja nini? So we did our first feature film called A Grand Little Lie, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Is history.
Yeah.
PhilitTV, what kind of content do you guys have on it?
We've always wanted to tell our stories, like right from when we joined Tahiti High. When we joined Tahiti Highway, at that point, the model of the show was this was a school that people spoke in proper English, proper Swahili. Sasa mimi na Abel tumeingia huko, sisi ni watu wa mtaani jo. Tuliingia huko kichwa ngumu tu, and we started doing dialogue in Sheng, and soon enough it caught up. So we've always really wanted to do our stories our own way. The challenge with broadcasters is for them, and I hope I never get to that point, but they have so many things they're looking at. One, they're working with government bodies who are very restrictive. Two, they're working with advertisers. Three, they're working with investors and board of directors. So by the time you see a show we've done on a broadcaster, I mean, there's so many things we've been curtailed from doing, and not a fault of theirs. It's just the nature of business. So we really wanted to tell stories that we think are interesting to us. Like A Grand Little Lie is just a story about a young man who goes to work. He needs to go to Varsha over the weekend.
Yeah.
And he goes and lies to his boss that msewa amededi. And then from there, it just spirals out of control.
Yeah.
You see, that's not, if I was pitching that to a broadcaster, like Netflix or Showmax or whoever, they'd be like, no, that's not a deep story. But the truth is, that is such a normal story, everyday story that happens every single day in every single office. Umedanganya mdosi mara ngapi wewe ni mgonjwa? Tusiseme mdosi ako pale. Hatutajibu. You know. Yes, so we wanted to tell such stories. So we built that site to produce our own shows and put them there. Of course, we've had so many producers coming in and they're saying, can we put our content on your platform? Which we have done. We have tried. I must admit that our content still gets the best traction simply because we've built a community. The challenge we've had is now I need you to come with your community as well. Yeah, because your content is very different to ours. We're also in the process of scaling because now what we've realized, we just need a lot of money to continuously have budgets to market throughout the year so that even when you bring your content, we don't need to rely on your community. We can just sell it by ourselves.
So who do you feel are like your competitors and what sets you apart from them?
I don't look at them as competitors, and I'll give a statistic. When Netflix blew up and it became big, everyone said that that is the death of cinema. But what happened? Cinema actually became bigger because Netflix brought in a whole new audience that was curated for high quality content. And because of Netflix, they now even started appreciating cinema more. So I don't see the Netflix and Showmax of this world as competitors. In fact, my hope and prayer is that they become bigger because Showmax has 5 million Kenyans subscribing, Netflix has 5 million Kenyans subscribing, then the chances of PhilitTV getting to 5 million subscribers becomes easier. Yeah, because right now my biggest challenge is Kenyans don't have a cinema-going culture and don't have a paying for content culture. Tumezoea, tunaona vitu YouTube for free. You go to developed countries like in Europe, people pay for everything. US, people pay for everything. Like there are no free apps. For me, if Showmax grows, if Netflix grows, if Viusasa grows, it means Philip grows as well.
So what are the challenges that you've faced so far when it comes to PhilitTV?
Tech, oh God, that is a world I do not understand. It's super expensive. Actually, it's the cost. As the platform becomes bigger, your costs become bigger. The server space you want becomes bigger. The software developers you need, like right now for PhilitTV to run optimally, I need like a team of at least 20 developers, kuna UX, UI, back end, so many guys on that platform Monday to Monday. But currently it's only managed by one. You see, because software developers are not cheap. Right now, we're in the process of looking for investors. So investors who at least we can get patient capital, and we're able to develop it to a much bigger platform and put in more content on it.
So far, you've said that you have had producers who propose to bring their content, and it has gone on the platform. How do you ensure compensation for their content?
We do a revenue split. So the truth is, I keep telling them we are still in the journey of building whatever we are building. So I'm very honest from the get-go. Like, if you bring your content to my platform, I don't have word of cash just waiting for you. And then again, I keep telling them, when we were building the platform, we were customizing it for our film ambassadors who are our community. So I'm also honest with them. If you want to bring your content to my platform, you're relying heavily on your community as well. So what we do is a revenue share, 70-30, 70 to the producer, 30 to us, just to be able to manage the costs.
So we have platforms, we have VOD platforms that do have the revenue share. And it's always based on subscription and eyeballs. Is it the same for PhilitTV?
Our model is pay-per-view. So that's something else. When we were building our platform, we did a lot of research on. And across the globe, people have subscription fatigue. Every end of the month you hit with bills. You have to subscribe, pay for this, pay for this, pay for this. So our model is pay-per-view. Like, come watch that one show, that one film that you want to watch. After that, uendelea na life. If you want to come back 1 year later, that's up to you. So I'm not bugging you every month to pay me.
Have you been faced with the issues of piracy?
None whatsoever. And cybersecurity, we actually pay people. They're called ethical hackers. We pay people to crack the site. And the minute they're successful, then we know this is a loophole. So we fix it immediately. So we are very, very lucky that so far we've not had issues of people pirating from our site. But the truth is, the bigger we get, the more advanced hackers we attract.
Okay, so explain to me this link situation, because I know you've had films where you were able to sell links. How do they work? In
doing a lot of research, the biggest challenge the other platforms I've had is people sharing passwords. So we were like, how do we counter that? And Kanye, who's just a genius, found a way, something that other platforms in the world have not cracked. So once you pay, we send you a link on email or on text. And the device you open the link on, you can only watch that content from that link. That link is embedded in that device. So even when I transfer or share it to you, it cannot play on your device. Kama umeifungulia kwa phone, you can't go and watch it now later on a TV or a laptop. So we always advise our people, make sure you open it on the device you want to enjoy the film on, because it will only ever work again on that device only. So
have you guys been able to get your returns and maybe even much profit?
We thank God we've been able to break even, which again, back to doing research, we really approached our distribution model from a business perspective. So right from how Abel would write the scripts, we write with a budget in mind. So we're like, you know what? We shouldn't exceed this budget when it comes to producing the show. So, simple but interesting stories. And yes, so far we've produced 2 films with that model, and both films we've been able to break even and make a bit of profit. Not what we were targeting, hence the need for more marketing. We realized so far we've just been marketing using our social media platforms. Now we need to do more.
There's something that you said about us having a culture of going to, support our own in terms of watching and, going to the premieres and whatnot. And okay, how do you think we can do that, or how can we push for that to happen more often?
From my experience from the two films, I think it's us, the producers, who've been sleeping on the job. We've just not been going to them. We've not been advertising to them. They don't know when these films happen.
Yeah.
They don't know. Believe it or not, there are people in this country who are on social media every day now. Hawajawahi sikia about click bang or a grant, despite all the noise that we make.
Yeah.
So it tells you we are not even doing enough, because the reception we're getting once we premiere these shows, I have had so many people who came to the cinema halls for the first time in their lives to watch our films. And they're like, you mean the film is this fun? Like, it's so much fun to watch a film on a big screen with so many people, because the experience is very different. We went to Nakuru. Nakuru is a whole city that does not have a single cinema hall. And we premiered, and after that, I had a group of people walking up to me, and they're like, can you guys be doing this every weekend? I'm asking, what do you mean every weekend? Because in Nakuru, the only entertainment we get at night is clubs. So for some of us who don't go clubbing, you guys have just given us another option. Of fun. We went to Eldoret, our screening, we got over 1,000 people coming in, and there are 1,000 people seated in the tent. Abel asks, how many people have gone to the cinema? Because where we were screening the show, ilikuwa kwa grounds Rupert's Mall. And within Rupert's Mall, there's a cinema. There's a theater there. And we asked how many people have gone to that cinema to watch a film. Believe it or not, in a crowd of over 1,000 people, only about 10 hands went up.
No.
They live in Eldoret. Wow. What we charge for entrance fee to watch our films. No other cinema hall in Kenya charges that. We are the most expensive. We still got 1,000 people to come. So they are really enjoying the stories. So nisisi tu, it's marketing. It's just marketing. We just need to make going to cinemas cool and sexy.
That's true. Make it enticing.
Kabisa.
So what's the future for PhilitTV?
We're just getting started. The idea is one day we'll put out a film and 10 million Kenyans will watch. That's the goal. The goal is consistency and frequency. We put out our last film in 2022. This is 2024. That should never happen again. I want to get to a point where we can, as Philip Productions only, we can be dropping a film at least quarterly. And once the model is up and running and it's working, I want to collaborate with a lot of producers. And I want to get to a point where at least there's a film dropping every month. Because for this model to work, we need consistency. Any person I'm meeting with them, I'm telling them right now, our goal is just one. We need to build a cinema-going culture and a paying for entertainment culture in this country. That's our goal. The minute we break that ceiling and we have numbers, from there now, all these things all these other issues we have in the industry will fall into place. Yeah. And I'll give context. In Germany, there's a whole mall that has nothing but cinema halls.
Wow.
In that one building, they have, I think, like 12 different screens, cinema screens. Wow. Every week, 1.6 million Germans go to the cinema. And this is post-COVID, so they were telling us, hey, now it's even bad. 1.6, that's bad. Before COVID, the numbers used to be higher. So now if 1.6 million Kenyans are going to watch cinema in Kenya, then the industry will just now flourish naturally. Yeah. The money will just come. The investors will just come. The corporates will just come. But we're all sure pia watakam. Yeah.
Do you think the government is doing its part in terms of supporting this growing industry?
A huge shout out to Mr. Timothy Owase, the CEO of Kenya Film Commission. If there's someone who's out there really, really pushing and trying and building on these structures to help us. Right now, there's a lot of policies being written for the film industry. I know we are always bashing government, but I will say, as the film fraternity and Mr. Timothy Owasi and the Kenya Film Commission, genuinely, we're doing well. Like, from government support, we're really getting support. I'm just not going to be one of those Kenyans who's always complaining about serikali. Where they're doing good, I will acknowledge, and we're headed in the right direction. The only request I'd have from government is if they could build the cinema halls, affordable ones, across the counties. If for every county government, part of their social responsibility, because we need social facilities, we used to have some community halls. If they could just convert these community halls into proper cinemas, then it will be very affordable, and it will make a lot of sense to us as filmmakers, so that when I'm premiering my film, I'm not premiering in one cinema hall in Nairobi. I'm premiering in 47 cinema halls across the country.
On that note, I remember when Jackie Vicky Awinja went Ukoko and she did just a screening for Disco Matanga.
Yes.
Did you see the numbers?
That's why I'm telling you, the problem is not the Kenyans. It's not the audience are ready. Ni sisi. And you see the challenge she encountered in that area. There are no cinema halls. There are no facilities.
Yes.
So now she has to bring in screens. She has to bring in the sound where people are going to sit, pay for the grounds. So it becomes super, super expensive. And that's why, as filmmakers, we are struggling. But the audience is ready. The audience is ready for our stories. Kabisa.
So it's a good time to start pushing for that culture. And
absolutely,
from what I'm getting is that everyone needs to put in the work. That's straight up from the artist to the executives.
Ni sisi kama filmmakers, tuseme tu kweli, when it comes to the marketing side, tumelala.
Or maybe it's also, I don't want to say lack of awareness. Nastake some ignorance. Maybe we're just not equipped yet to understand the business aspect of film.
I don't know what to call it, but as Kenyan filmmakers, we've been very comfortable. And it's also because of how film was introduced to Kenya. Kenya used to be a very rich destination for Hollywood. So Kenyan filmmakers, we were introduced to the film industry through Hollywood. So now we got comfortable, extremely comfortable, because Hollywood is coming in with Hollywood dollars. So even our rates, but our rates are not supported by the truth. We don't have an industry, so you can't ask me for a rate that's here when, if we put out the show or the film, it only sells up to here. The revenue we are getting from selling our products that cannot support what he charges me. So now it's a hard conversation of going back to the industry practitioners and telling it, unajua, you used to charge me $1 million, sasa nataka ukule 1,000. Ndio tuanze build cinema from scratch again, to build audience. The day we get to 10 million Kenyans watching our films, come charge me $1 million to shoot that film.
So what advice would you give any aspiring person who wants to get into this business of videos on demand or content creation for online?
I've had the uncomfortable journey of transitioning from being a creative, an artist, to being a businessman. And now, as much as we are complaining, this is what used to happen for TV. Let me talk about TV. We only used to, when we were in Tahiti High, we only used to have like 7 TV stations. Out of the 7 TV stations, I think only 3 TV stations used to get advertising. So now we're in a situation where all these companies are no longer advertising as they used to on TV. But the beauty about the online space is, before, only the big boys could advertise, the big companies, because for you to run a thematic campaign, you'd probably need to spend like 40 to maybe 100 million Kenyan shillings. So, very few companies could afford that. But right now, I can have my online shop and pay 10,000 shillings to Google Ads and advertise. So believe it or not, more than ever in this country, there's more money in the marketing and advertising sector than ever before. The problem is, the bulk money used to sit in one corner.
Yeah.
Now money is like this. It's
Everywhere.
everywhere. There's more money, but you can't walk to one spot and say, give me 10 million.
Yeah.
So now how do you convert all this money to you? And that's where content creation now is, for me, the next big frontier. The next billionaires in the world will be content creators. So you don't even need to go to broadcasters anymore.
Yeah.
So start creating your content now.
Now. That is the advice. Start creating content now. Wonderful. Okay. So here we have a culture. At the end of every episode, we play a game.
Yes. I am very competitive. I don't like games. I don't like losing. Okay.
Well, the game is very simple. You pick 3 questions from this little box over here.
All right.
3 random questions. You read them out loud and answer. No promises whatsoever. So if you can't answer, you'll have to leave 200 shillings for each question you can't answer.
Ay. Jamanini. Asikupewa brief ya ningekuja na hizo 200. Okay. Let's do this. Picky ponky, father had a donkey. What will you do if you had 2 hours left to live? My God. It's very easy for me. I'd immediately spend those last 2 hours with my daughter.
Oh, wow. That's immediately where you would go.
Yeah, that's where I went directly.
Yeah.
You said 3.
3. Number 2.
Number 2. Why do you think people stay in toxic relationships?
Imekupata.
Imenipata. Fear. And it's not just relationships, even at work, work environments. Human beings are afraid of stepping out into the unknown. You've been so comfortable in this particular space, and you're afraid, what happens to me if I leave? Yeah, just leave. Stop being afraid. Yeah.
Last one.
Jesus. Wacha nipeane hiyo 200.
Okay.
Is there anyone in your life who you need to forgive? Oh, no, wait. No. But then niko sawa.
Uko sawa?
Niko fiti.
Wow.
I dealt with that. 2023 for me was the year of just being reborn. So I did a lot of introspection, a lot of therapy, and a lot of soul searching, and a lot of hard conversations. I dealt with everything. I am good.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. I really admire that.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Phil, for your time.
Thank you as well.
All right, so this has been Real Talk. Until next time, goodbye.